When is it time to change sponsors? Here are some things to look for. Is your sponsor walk the talk? Have you guys become friends? Are they giving free advice, like freely giving advice? Following the program, conflict of interest, or a relapse? It is time to change your sponsor when one of these pops up. Maybe all of them pop up. Who knows? But you always have the right to make changes in your life. You always have the right to change your sponsor, get out of a relationship. Just because you've been in something for a long time doesn't mean you have to stay there for a long time. That you have to stay there and be loyal to someone if it is not okay with you anymore. So relationships, one of the first relationships that we get in recovery, like one of the first relationships I got in recovery was my sponsor. I had to go through a few sponsors. I had to change sponsors. My needs changed. My life changed. I was learning about myself. I have learned that I am allowed to make the changes in my life, and I'm allowed to change my sponsors, and so are you. So if your sponsor is not doing the work, is not walking the talk, that is reasons to leave the relationship. That relationship has lost its primary purpose. What is the primary purpose of your sponsee relationship? Is that they're there to help you get sober and learn the program, to teach you the steps, to do a run through. There's a contract here. This isn't like you have your sponsor forever. This is that you've made a temporary contract with someone based on principles, based on things that relationship requires. A sponsor relationship is different than your spouse relationship, different than your family, different than your kids. A sponsor relationship is about the program and getting through the program, helping you get through that program. It needs to have those things there. It needs to have the ingredients. The primary purpose of the relationship is to stay sober, to have healthy, loving relationships. Like whatever program you're in, that primary purpose needs to be there. So this is something that I use and test my sponsor-sponsee relationships all the time, is to make sure that the primary purpose is correct, that it's appropriate for the time in my life and for where we are at in our relationship. But humans change, I change, they change, but it doesn't, I have to adapt and move with the way that the relationship is going. I have to respond to how the relationship is changing. I can't just stay in it and be insane and keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. If it's changed, I have to acknowledge that it's changed. If my sponsor's changed, if we've become friends, then the relationship has lost its primary purpose. It has changed. That is reasons to find a new sponsor that will fit the bill. So that is on me, and it's also my right. So that is my freedom of choice to choose who I have in my life for these crucial times. Who's going to help me co-regulate and get on track and help me with the things that I need in my life, like help me to feel, help me to heal. The other thing is, becoming friends. You know what? It's okay to become friends. It's not okay to be friends and be sponsor-sponsee. That has changed the relationship. So I can decide with my sponsor and have a talk with them and be like, yeah, maybe we should be friends. That's okay. I can have a mutual agreement with my sponsor, but I do need a sponsor. The other thing is freely giving advice. If you end up with a sponsor and is like, they're freely giving advice, they're maybe being a bit controlling, maybe they're too involved. Like the thing is that they can lay down some suggestions and some recommendations, but the job of the sponsor is to inform of the program, to run me through the steps, to, help me listen to myself. I have to practice asking for help. I can't be told what to do all the time. I can't be dependent on my sponsor. I have to start learning how to take care of myself, become self-supporting, and learn to walk on my own with the help of my sponsor. Holding hands, but not being taken care of, right? I have to learn to take care of myself and ask for that help, not have it always given to me, right? So that's something to be aware of. Another thing is that sponsors not doing the program. Complete rights to leave the relationship if that's the case. What is going on there? But it's not, recovery first. I have to do everything that I can. I have to do everything in my power to stay sober, clean, happy, free. I have to do everything in my power to keep my recovery first. And if my sponsor is not doing the program, that's not my sponsor anymore. That's a person struggling that might need to do some of their own work. And my job, I let go of that, can still be friends, but I need a sponsor that's going to help me stay on track and do my steps and to talk to, and it's pretty hard to look up to someone that isn't following through on the program. Say they're not going to meetings, say they don't have their own sponsor, that's not very good math there, right? So it's that is grounds to change sponsorship. It might be time to change it up. You're always allowed to change it up. You're always allowed to lead your own life, live your own life. But recovery first, I need a good sponsor. I need one that's fitting for me in this time in my life. And I have the right to change. I have the right to fill my life with people, and who I have around and who I invite around is on me. I am a byproduct of my surroundings, my environment, and my people, where I go. So I need healthy people around me to be healthy. So one thing I really need in the 12-step program is a sponsor that does the program, that helps me, that isn't my friend, that is walking the talk. Another reason to change sponsors would be if there's a conflict of interest. It is really, I would be aware to get involved in a working relationship with a sponsor. You don't want to mix work and sponsorship. You don't want to mix too much stuff, right? Everything's got to be in its box and have its certain primary purpose to stay on track. Just keeping things clean and neat and simple. So my sponsor doesn't become so much of my life, but adds to my life in a gentle way that is there and consistent for me. But it's when I start mixing work and I start, that conflict of interest is there. Maybe they're over all the time or they're involved with my family. There's some of that is okay, but clean lines, because issues can happen down the road. Because what happens if that sponsor-sponsee relationship breaks up? Now you have mixed up your work. You've mixed up things that are outside of that relationship and that reason for that relationship. You've brought other things in. And it's to keep the relationship healthy is to just keep that sponsorship as just about the program. A little bit about little family friend stuff on the outside, but the heart of it has to be about the 12-step program. That person has to be leading and I have to be following and someone to look up to. So that's a healthy sponsor-sponsee relationship. And sadly to say it, but if they relapse, it might be time to just take a break. Find another temporary sponsor for a time. It doesn't mean that you never have to talk to that person again. It's a terrible thing to have to go through a relapse and they're probably struggling. But it is to put recovery first means I need a sponsor that's on. I need a sponsor that I'm looking up to, that is doing what they say. They're consistent. I can trust them. They're not giving me all this advice all the time. Why is that so bad? Because that's judgment, right? I'm already got enough on my plate. I need to learn how to ask for help. I can't be told how to live my life. I can take some suggestions, but when it becomes too much of that power shift or superiority, when there's that difference in power, like that's a red flag. So see, these are some of the things that if you notice some of these things, it is okay to evaluate your relationship with your sponsor. This could be a checklist for some of the things that you can change or give the relationship a break. If some of these things are not working out, it's grounds to leave. It's grounds to change. You have the right to make the change for your sponsor-sponsee relationship, just because if it's not working for you. And I need that recovery first because my life depends upon it. So I need that leadership, and sponsors give me that leadership. And I need that light to follow. But if the light's there and it's dimming or it's changing or it's affecting other parts of my life, I need to keep things in clean lines. It's simple. And that's the best way for my relationship with my sponsor to thrive. I need this in my life, and I need a healthy leading sponsor. But I'm always allowed to make changes in my life and my relationship. Just because they're my sponsor, just because I've known them for a long time, isn't the only reason I keep them. It isn't the reason I keep them around forever. I can change my sponsor. If some of these things here are on the list, or I'm ticking off some of these boxes, it's time to evaluate. So thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. Okay, bye.